Good morning from the loft in Tucson. I felt this kind of sitting here meditating, and I felt this little noise, and I realized it was Luca. He came up, sitting down just behind me. I've been dark, folks. I've been focusing on just feeling better, and that's the story. And as I'm going through my days, and I like to call myself a high performance guy, listen to a lot of high performance podcasts. How to go from good to great is really what I resonate with. And I have to admit, like losing my mom, even though I didn't live in Michigan, even though I didn't live down the street, and maybe I saw them 2-3 times a year, losing my mom has been a journey that I don't know how to put too much words to probably until now. I don't like looking through podcasts, looking through different things that would help me deal with it. I don't think it's really something we still even understand. I think that we have a lot of ways to go from good to great and get yourself up, and a lot of folks telling us how to do a lot of things on YouTube, which has really helped me. And I have my people I listen to. I aspire to be more out there for folks, I aspire to build a community. My core values are honesty, integrity, and community. And I think I've gone through a lot of struggles, ups and downs, fun stuff that would resonate with most of you guys out there as well. If you're a human being, I think that's kind of what it is. But when we start to talk about grief, it is like Charlie Brown said, good grief. Like, what is wrong with me? And why is it that I can't perform like I think I shoulda, woulda, coulda? Why is it that life's just so hard? And so what I've learned is it's just one of those things. And I think it's gonna happen to us all at some point. If you have a family, significant other, none of us is gonna make it out of life alive, right? We know all this. And the weight of responsibilities, the weight of our dreams and goals, it's only me and Luca. I don't have kids. I don't have a significant other. I aspire to have more relationships. I aspire to have a significant other. But when you're out there, running and gunning is really what I would say I've done with my life. I have seen something and gone and done it. I went on a raft trip in West Virginia, and the next summer I was a raft guide for many years. I got kind of disenfranchised with the cold water and became a dog sledding guide in Alaska. And that was even worse weather. And came back and kind of went back into the cycle of up in the mountains, and then injured my body. And so I felt like life was telling me to go back to town and go back to my house. And I ran a bike shop and built business for a while. And eventually got into real estate. And when I got into real estate, it was because I had sold a house and lost my money to a fraud scheme. And so the combination of needing to figure out how I'm going to make more money again, how am I going to set myself up again, got me into a financial literacy group. And the financial literacy group one of the tenets of this group I was with is embrace change and expect to succeed. And the people I was with, you guys are probably out there, really, we opened the journey into self-development, being the best Harley I could be, being more calm in my heart, being in quite literally, my problem was that I didn't listen. And I remember sitting there at a meeting, just kind of uncomfortable, just not, what's wrong with me? Like, I just don't feel like I'm doing life the right way. And they're like, Harley, you don't listen. And so I work on listening, and granted, I'm talking, but I encourage us all to look inward, look at ourself in an honest way, and say, what can we do better? What do I want to get going on? What are my dreams, my goals, my aspirations? How do I want to show up to other people? And I have kind of evolved that into this channel, into, I call it a shade tree mindset, where we're going to sit underneath the shade tree and, calm down, take a deep breath, and then think about our incentives. Think about what it is we want to do with the rest of our lives. And the shade tree economists study incentives. Yes, it's related to money. It's what we spend our money on, and of course that's very important. I've gone down the rabbit hole on how to plan for retirement. How I would want to invest versus how you would want to invest is totally, two separate things. I'm rooted in real estate, and I got family members that have no interest in real estate, right? And that's okay. But the point that I'm trying to get across in my channel and in my videos is, we got to think about that shade tree part of life, and think about our incentives on what drives me. It used to be that I wanted to just be the best Harley. I wanted to just buy the most houses and, get at life and stack up dollar bills and be able to live my dreams. And I will tell you, sorry about the train. There's a train right there. City life. We'll just let him honk. He'll be done in a second. But what I found is I enjoy hanging out with my family more. I like my nieces, my nephews give me joy. And so when I lost my mom, all the things I like to do for myself and for joy kind of just didn't feel right. I still walk Luca. I still do the things, my responsibilities, but haven't been riding my bike as much. I couldn't even eat, enjoy things that I like to enjoy. And I feel like I've been out of whack, out of balance. But what I do know, one thing I do know, is I love being Uncle Harley. And that has been the thing that's shifted to where I was out there doing and running, gunning, and now, it's important to be a good Uncle Harley. It's important to maybe send them a birthday card here and there, FaceTime, and physically getting to be near them, I think, is going to be part of my goal. I live in Tucson. My family lives in Michigan and in Wisconsin. So I'm even further than I was when I lived in Colorado. I could drive home when I went to Colorado, but it's a whole new journey now. But what I'm getting at here, guys, is it's a journey for us all to stay in that shade tree mindset. And the world, it seems now, is dividing us. And I have family that's on one side or this side, but I do know they love me. They've told me so. They listen to me when I have problems. But how do we stay in a shade tree mindset and go about our day? Is getting tougher and tougher and tougher. So I found I've needed to really learn on how my body works, how the cycle of my life, can be helped, and getting out in front of the sun and doing a little bit of meditation has been about the only thing that's really rewired me. So that's, in a nutshell, what I would suggest to folks. And if you're dealing with grief could be, yeah, I lost my mom. That's a heavy one. That really made my cheese slid off my cracker. But there's also, you lose relationships. Maybe friends are not as close as you used to be. Maybe you lost your animal. So what I'm learning about grief is we can grieve the loss of a lot of things. I had a salary and a job that I really liked, and they kind of just flipped a switch and took my salary away. So if you're dealing with a lot of change, look at grief. Look at the fact that maybe you're going to need to take some time and get over that, and for some of us, taking the time to get over stuff is excruciating. I just want to get on with it. I just want to get back out there and do things, and so what I've found also about grief is that it wipes you out energetically. You don't have the energy, you don't have the mindset, brain fog. You're just kind of going through the motions. And if you have kids and you have relationships and you have a job, it might be all dialed down and the joy might be harder to find. And so the one thing I've noticed is I needed to give myself some time. I needed to let myself go a little bit, and walk instead of going doing hardcore exercises. Sleep a little bit more. Sleep's very important. And I've just now, it's March. My mom passed in late August. So I'm just now starting to feel like I'm coming out of it, or I can think about my goals and dreams and plans again. And I'm going to share those with you. I'm going to be resolved to do that. But I just want to give grief the honest situation of how hard it is. I want to be honest about this. And everybody says, I'm sorry for your loss. And I appreciate that. And I'm working on how to respond in a better way. But, thank you for your concern. But how about just learn, when I say, good, bad, or indifferent, just learn that might be coming for you someday, and file it away and be like, all right, this people, this is what they say about grief. And so give yourself some time, give yourself compassion. I'm learning whatever self-compassion means, because I just kind of think I go. I think I just was raised to put my mind to it and go do it. And so self-compassion means get back into that shade tree mindset, Harley. Just take yourself back to a place in a space where you could take a deep breath, feel the sunshine on your face. Stop trying to stack up all my to-do list. Stack up all the things I need to get done today is definitely what's been killing me. And, I've honestly had to get back into my soul, some meditation, somebody might say woo-woo stuff, and finding some new people and finding some new mindset tricks. But if you're finding yourself in a world that we live in now, where it's chaos and it's one side or the other, and there, pick a side, right? Like, pick a side. I don't know that either side's super awesome and super happy right now. I think we're both kind of saying, screw you. No, screw you. Reminds me of that scene in Dumb and Dumber where one guy whacks the other guy, ha ha ha, and the other guy whacks the other guy, and then all of a sudden it spirals into whack, 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 whack. And I think that's, if you live in America, that's what I'm feeling is this underlying, with each other. So maybe we need to grieve the way it was. Maybe we need to have some self-love and say, hey, I don't care what they think. I'm gonna be honest with myself. I'm gonna come back to a positive space, come at the world in a positive way. I'm gonna be more kind to people that I don't agree with. Being more kind is the way out to yourself and to others, and just let whatever it is go. And for me, it's been my to-do list. It's been, why am I not functioning at a high level like I have my whole life? Why can't I just go do things? And I could feel myself getting tense just when I say that. So thank you for listening. If you're listening to the end of this one, we'll talk with more people on grief. I'm starting to meet people that have gone through it. I'm starting to meet people in my shoes, starting to draw in help. But it's been a long journey, 7-something months of feeling like crap and coming out of it and figuring out how to connect. My mom made me this hat, so I found it. It's a little bit chilly, but one thing I found is to keep connecting with the people you lost while also connecting with yourself and acknowledging where you're at helps you to move on, helps you to you really have to acknowledge the grief is what I've found in the studies. And there's podcasts. I recommend podcasts. I recommend YouTube videos. I recommend doing whatever it is it resonates with you. I've been listening to audiobooks, and maybe audiobooks that are not on grief too. Something that just, I listened to one on the Grand Canyon, and the fastest dory trip down the Grand Canyon, it was like 15 hours. And, kind of got me back into remembering how I was a raft guide and remembering a little bit who I am and who I'm going to become and whatnot. But in order to get to a shade tree mindset, we have to take some deep breaths. We have to imagine ourselves sitting underneath the sun in a shade tree. And then I believe we got to talk to people. I believe we've got to talk to people if you're in a grief mindset. I believe we got to talk to people on the other side of whatever it is we agree or disagree with in a real way. And there's ways to do that. I'm going to go over that. Chris Voss has trained me on how to have tactical empathy and be able to get the best outcome. So I'm trying to have a little empathy for myself and count my blessings a bit, but it's also just being okay with sitting here some days. It's okay with, I don't have any energy. I'm going to do the minimum that I need to do in life for the last 7 months, it seems. But, this will get better. If you're in grief, it will get better. You'll start to meet more people. If we just can't isolate ourselves, guys. We just can't isolate ourselves in this world we live in. We can't stay in the one side and not listen to the other side. I think that's really what's starting to happen. And that we're all human beings. None of us are perfect. None of us are perfect. None of us have all the answers, right? So take this to heart and start to listen to somebody that you don't agree with today. Start to listen to yourself. Start to think about, am I tense? Am I wound up? Am I angry? And get back to a positive mindset. Get back to that shade tree mindset of wherever your shade tree is. I know some people play video games and they unwind. Some people go on walks, whatever. But we've got to be able to get back to that shade tree mindset in order to talk to people, in order to solve our problems, in order to come back to reality and not have so much chaos. But I love you all. Sorry this one's long. Maybe we'll cut it up a little bit. But I love you all. Have an excellent day.